We are heading to the championship rounds.
Going into the championship round. This is it now, championship rounds.
Welcome to the championship rounds. This is the 2017 end of year awards as voted for by you on Twitter. And I'll be giving my thoughts on those and giving my own winners too. We started things off with MMA Fighter of the Year. The four options I gave were Rose Namajunas, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, Robert Whittaker, and Max Holloway. Now, in every mixed martial arts outlet I've seen, Max Holloway has won Fighter of the Year. Understandably. You know, he's dominant champion, clearing out his division, doing it the right way. But no. The championship rounds following on Twitter has voted Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson, MMA Fighter of the Year, and I can't argue too much with that. What a year Mighty Mouse has had. You know, defending his title and breaking the record for the all-time record of title defenses. That's awesome. I know a lot of people say, and I've said it about Mighty Mouse, he doesn't take on the most challenging of options, but you talk about a guy who has cleared out his division and then some. He's cleared out his division. They're coming back round. He's gone through every contender, and now they're just going to the back of the line and they're lining up again. No one can beat him. He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT of the division. I mean, let's think about his 2017. He beat Wilson Reyes, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with pronunciations. And Ray Borg. Obviously, they're not two massive names. He won both via submission. Both, he was, very comfortable wins, if I'm honest. People say they're easy fights, but, there's no easy fight in the UFC. How many times have we seen upsets to back that up? So, Demetrius Johnson put himself in the history books. He'll never be forgotten in MMA history. And that's why he's been named Fighter of the Year. I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but that's what the Twitter poll came out with, and I'm not gonna argue it. Obviously, people want him to take on someone like TJ Dillashaw. I hope he does, because I hope if he beats TJ Dillashaw, then nobody can say another bad word about DJ. Okay, moving on to MMA Fight of the Year. Now, the options for this one were Gaethje versus Johnson, the Oliveira fight, the Poirier fight with Miller, and Gaethje's other fight with Alvarez. Now, the interesting thing about this is there was a tied winner between Gaethje versus Johnson and Gaethje versus Alvarez. So we're just going to go and give Fight of the Year to Justin Gaethje. You talk about an exciting fight to watch. How he's not being catapulted into the mainstream. Well, he's going to be catapulted into the mainstream if he keeps putting on fights like that. Maybe not going to do the longevity of his career any good, but, people couldn't pick between two of his fights for Fight of the Year, so it took 3 seconds for the first strike to be thrown against Michael Johnson. There were 204 total strikes exchanged between them. About one every 1.5 seconds, which is over the course of the opening rounds. That's incredible. There were 28 of Gaethje's leg kicks in there. 15 seconds into the fight, both men decided pacing themselves was just not on the table, and they would just throw in their full power into every strike. And then, by the end of they were only a minute in, and both men had really been rocked. And they were like zombies. They just kept walking forward, man. About halfway into the first round, Gaethje, landed that combination that really wobbled Johnson, but he just kept coming like a zombie. And it was with less than 30 seconds left, Johnson landed back big and buckled Gaethje. It was just the craziest round, that round especially. No doubt, Gaethje deserves fight of the year. Moving on, we go for knockout of the year. Now the options for this were Holly Holm, Barboza, Daly, and Francis Ngannou. Now, is there any surprise that 100% of the votes went to Francis Ngannou, or Ngannou, however you like to pronounce it, against Alistair Overeem? What can you say about this knockout? It's so scary. It came out of nowhere. That uppercut caught flush on Overeem's no joke. It takes, he's a big dude, ex-champion. It takes a lot to take that man down, and just one punch just sent him, pretty much lifted him off his feet and threw him to the canvas. And obviously that knockout has catapulted Ngannou into stardom, and he's got this fight with Stipe Miocic coming up. That's going to be shown on highlight reels for the rest of time. That was such a scary knockout. Makes you realize how scary that man is. It was the perfect time as well, because not long ago before this, he recorded the hardest ever punch, and he backs her up in a fight. Absolutely insane knockout. Knockout of the year goes to Francis Ngannou. Next up is submission of the year, MMA. Now your options for this were Alcantara, Brett Johns, and Demetrius Johnson. Now, I disagree with the vote here. The vote has gone to Demetrius Johnson for his flying armbar against Ray Borg, which was absolutely crazy. At the time, I thought it was the best submission I've ever seen. Came out of nowhere. I mean, he applied the armbar mid-air. And what helped the submission was how savage Ray Borg was. He was such a savage. He did not tap. He stayed in there for way longer than anyone else would. What a savage Ray Borg is. But that submission was absolutely incredible, man. That did so much for DJ, because people have called him boring, but that was anything but boring. Especially for MMA purists, that was perfect. But my submission of the year was Brett Johns against Joe Soto. Brett Johns, I know I may be biased, and I probably am biased because he's Welsh. But it was an incredible submission. The second calf slicer in UFC history. He's now 15-0 as a pro. People were saying that this could be the turning of the tide, and this is where he'd pick up his first loss against, Joe Soto, seasoned. He's taking on people like Dillashaw. 30 seconds into the fight, Brett Johns wins by calf slicer. It was incredible, just the way he rolled. Obviously, Ray Borg shot for a takedown. And just Brett Johns, it was so fluid. He reached for his own leg, dropped. Everyone thought he'd been taken down, but he knew before anyone else what was going on. He knew what he was doing. He grabbed his leg on instinct, dropped to his back, rolled through, applied the calf slicer, and it was just absolute beautiful jiu-jitsu. It was just beautiful to watch. So my submission of the year goes to Brett Johns, but the vote goes to Demetrius Johnson. So, two incredible submissions. Now, fighter of the year for boxing, that was the final category. Now, your options were Anthony Joshua, Terence Crawford, Vasyl Lomachenko, and Andre Ward. Now, the vote came out in a tie between Terence Crawford and Vasyl Lomachenko. Personally, out of the two, I would say I'd be more in favour for Vasyl Lomachenko, just due to You know, he's won 3 times this year, and people were saying that maybe Rigondeaux was going to spoil the party and really be his toughest test yet, but he dominated Rigondeaux, or Rigondeaux, however you like to pronounce it. He dominated him, made him quit. He didn't belong in the same ring as Lomachenko. Lomachenko could be pound for pound best in the world. I know it doesn't look like that when you look at his pro record, but go look at his amateur record as well. And just watch his fight against Rigondeaux. There's nothing like Lomachenko. He's so fun to watch. So, if I could step in there and choose out of the 50-50, I'd give that to Vasyl Lomachenko as Fighter of the Year. However, I want to throw a name in the hat here. Andre Ward. Now, I know you're thinking he only fought once in 2017, but he fought Sergey Kovalev in the rematch after people, including I, thought Kovalev won the first match. He come back, won the rematch, didn't have to take that rematch. Some people said it was silly. Took the rematch and just outclassed Kovalev, outclassed him, and then decided to retire. Right off into the sunset at 32-0, undefeated. You know, I even did one of the first episodes on this channel. I did a special on Andre Ward and his legacy, because I think he's he's a boxing purist stream, and what a legacy. And if go and watch his retirement video, and if that doesn't give you chills, nothing will. So I want to give a special mention there to Andre Ward as potential boxing fighter of the year. I'm glad no one voted Anthony Joshua there, because I don't think, for me, I'm still not 100% sold on Joshua. If he'd, maybe 2018 will be the year for Joshua if he can get through. If he can get through Tyson Fury, if he can get through Deontay Wilder, a big name like that, then we're talking fighter of the year. I know he's the heavyweight champion of the world, but I'm still not completely sold. Although, obviously, you can't deny he's one of the best in the world. Anyway, that's going to do it. That's our categories. They're all the winners. I'm going to quickly run through those again. And I'll take into account the van votes and my vote. And I'll make a decision on who wins each category. So, MMA Fighter of the Year goes to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. MMA Fight of the Year just goes to Justin Gaethje. Pick one, Alvarez, Johnson. Still goes to the same guy. MMA Knockout of the Year goes to Francis Ngannou. MMA Submission of the Year goes to Brett Johns. I'm laying the land there. It's Brett Johns. Boxer of the Year goes to Vasyl Lomachenko. And that's gonna do it for the end of 2017 awards. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Listen to this on YouTube or iTunes. Follow all the social medias. Twitter is @ChampRoundsPod. It's Championship Rounds Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for listening. That's going to do it for this one. And let's have a great 2018. Thank you.